Okay, so the few things that we'll start with few things like understanding the cloud computing concepts. What is cloud computing? What is SaaS, PaaS, and AS, the service model? Then we'll see what is public, private, and community cloud and hybrid cloud, right? What are deployment models for these clouds? What is SFDC and Salesforce One? And benefits of the Force.com platform that we have. And apart from that, how we will see like how we can develop apps in the Salesforce. What is the architecture of the Salesforce, and how it's known as a metadata-driven architecture. So these are the few things that we'll cover today. We won't go much in a depth today for the very first class, but I will try to explain you like what exactly the Salesforce looks like and what exactly it's meant by the cloud computing and other details. To start with the cloud computing concept, which means like if you get a services on internet, which means whenever you are surfing a browser or getting any services that's online, it's not in like in your infra. Say for example, I am using a software but that software resides somewhere in any other place. You just need internet to access that particular service or software, right? Say for example, AWS, you might have heard about that. Or say for example, you are using a software to upload your files, right? Say for example, you're registering somewhere and you're uploading some files, you're uploading some documents, right? But that goes somewhere, it gets stored somewhere in the server, or somewhere it gets stored. So for that reason, some services have been there on the internet. You just need the internet to connect to those services, which means there's a cloud computing provides you services, it provides you the hardware, it provides you the softwares, right, to access all those services, right? Regardless of the internet connection, you can access all those services. So that doesn't mean that services will be on premises, that will be on your building. Say for example, I'm having an office and I need some services, right, to to run my software machines, right? So what exactly we do is we use these devices that are not on your premise but on the internet, and you can serve those services and use those services, right? So what exactly this means is, I'll take you an example. You have been using Netflix, right? So what Netflix does is it's not using the services, it's storage, all those things on their premises. They are using AWS for that. For example, all the videos and the movies, whatever you're surfing on Netflix, it's automatically is deployed on AWS, and when you're running it, you're seeing those things on your mobile device in a mobile app, right? Which means somewhere those videos and movies are residing and you're playing on your local phone, you're using those services. So Netflix is using AWS as a provider so that they can run those particular movies or anything from anywhere of the world. Anyone can access all those things. So that is something known as cloud computing. It provides you the storage, it provides you the hardware, it provides you the software. It does not needs to be on your on-premises. So if that's an on-premises, that's a different type of cloud computing model, right? So the other thing is what is known as IAAS, what is known as PAAS and SAAS. So IAAS means cloud computing services when you pay as you go. For example, if I'm using AWS to provide me some services, so provide me some systems, like for example, this is my laptop. The same as a system, a virtual machine can be provided by the AWS, right? There's certain other VM as well, right? Which can provide those services. That's online. You don't need to have a physical system. You can access all those things online, right? So IaaS means pay as you go, which means whenever you are surfing a particular service, you're paying for that. For example, if I have a machine, I need storage space of 100 GB. So I'm paying for that 100 GB only, right? If I'm using only 10 GB, I'm paying for the 10 GB only. I need not to have to pay for the other 90 GB. So that's something pay as you go, IAS, infrastructure as a services, which means second one is PAAS, which means hardware or software tools that I can access. For example, I need some software on that machine that's online, that's not physical with me, that I can service the machine online, right? So hardware that I need and the software that I need in that particular machine. SaaS means the software and the third party services that we need on that system, right? Which means like, for example, if I'm using a instance of AWS and now I want to access some of the softwares over there, I need to pay for that. For example, some services, the storage services, machine services, some other services which I can secure my data. So all those things I need to pay for that. On premises means like the software has to be installed in the same building as a business, because for example, if your Netflix is using AWS, it's need not to be necessary like AWS is having their data center over there in Netflix buildings. Data center is spread it throughout the world. It's in India and Mumbai, it's in South Africa, it's in UK, US, Australia. So there are multiple data centers, but Netflix is connecting with those data centers to show you the real-time movies or anything, whatever you want to. Similarly, it goes for the Amazon Prime. They're using the same thing. They need not storing all those videos or the movies on their premises on the same building. It's all the cloud computing thing. So then how Salesforce is related to the cloud computing, I'll tell you. So what happens is how Salesforce is related is Salesforce also has the same model. For example, whatever you're seeing on my screen is a Salesforce environment. We store customers' data, right? We process that data, we automate that data, and we basically do something some logic we build or some process that we do so that the agents, whatever the functionality they're doing, they can be more productive. We automate those things. We provide support for our products. We do sales, marketing, right? There are multiple products that Salesforce are coming to these days. The other ones are I'll tell like the health cloud, the experience cloud as a community portal that you can see from where the customers can raise their concern or create support cases. I'll take you an example. I'll show you, like, for example, you might be using Paytm, right? So for what Paytm does in the backend is, for example, when you go to a Paytm and see like you contact a support, you will say like, my recharge was not successful, right? You're recharging your internet and it was not successful. So what you do is you reach out to Paytm, you contact the support, and you provide your details. Like, this is my contact number, this was a recharge, and it is not successful. So what they do in the back end is you contacted supports in the back end, it creates a case, which means there is some issue with the customer, and a particular case gets assigned to a particular agent, which means for example, if something wrong goes out in your house, like the electricity is not coming, we call a particular electrician. Similarly, a particular agent is there who will be assigned to that case. He'll provide the resolutions, he will fix that, he'll provide the resolutions, and he'll fix for that particular user. So this is how Paytm is providing services to their customers. Similarly, Paytm is using for the sales. For example, they want to, they have new things coming up. For example, they are selling some services, right? Like, for example, KYC thing they are doing for their customers. So they're selling that, right? Their services they're selling to the customers. So for that reason, they can use for the sales as well, right? So what they do is they reach out to potential customer, get their details, and track their things over in Salesforce, see whether they can, that particular initial detail of customer is stored as a lead, they're converting that to opportunity, getting their contact account created in the system as a sales, right? Similarly, they can use this for a marketing. So what they do as a marketing is, if they run a campaign, they're providing a new way, like you can also book, say for example, train tickets from Paytm. So they are using this. I mean, they're providing services, but they need to market that service, right? So for that, they will run a campaign. They will go door to door. I mean, digital marketing and all those things they will do to market that particular service to the end customers. So they will run a campaign in the system. They will run a journey. They will track down the journey of the customers, how they, whether they have installed the things or not, they're using or not. If not, we'll show those ads to them. They will give a call, the cold calling, cold emailing, and all those things. So make sure that they are having those marketing things done. So this is how a Salesforce things revolve around these particular areas. There's a small thing that I'm talking about. There are huge services that Salesforce provides, regardless of manufacturing cloud, experience cloud, sales service are the core. Community that's now known as experience cloud is another Salesforce industries velocity. The other one is CPQ, that's for billing and quote creation, right? That big companies like Honeywell and all this company use for selling their products to the different customer and creating a quote. And for example, they're buying $100,000 of a deal. I mean, they're having a deal of $100,000. So for that, they basically create a code, provide discounts and approvals and order creations, and all those things happen in the Salesforce, right? So they track down each and everything regarding the sales as well for the customers. They create templates and provide details over there as well. So this is something Salesforce as a model provides. So what Salesforce does with the SaaS, PaaS, and IAAS is they provide software as a service, because you can see the Salesforce environment. It's live. It's on your premise, like it's on cloud and it's on your premise. Like you can use it anywhere. Just you need your laptop and internet connection. You can access Salesforce on your phone as well. You need to install Salesforce One application, and from there you can access Salesforce environment over there as well, right? You can access in your tab, and all those things are responsive. You know, not to bother about the UI and all those things. These are software that's not on your premise, it's on the cloud, and you can access anywhere in the world. Just you need internet connection and the authentication. And the other thing is the other thing that you can have is like you need not to have a particular set of hardware that you need to have on your system, but you need not to have to access the Salesforce. You don't need to have Salesforce is not providing system kind of thing where you can access all those particular different system, and you need a particular hardware or software for that. Just you need a simple laptop or phone. You can access Salesforce from anywhere in the world. The other thing that comes up is services as you go. So, for example, if you need certain apps, like we have a Play Store in Google and App Store in iPhones and all. Similarly, we have App Exchange, right? In Salesforce, if you want to have some apps installed in a system that makes your work easy, you can install it as well. For example, if you want to have certain app that can that can send in bulk emails for you, or you want to have an app that can that can convert your documents into PDF or anything, something like that. There's certain apps that you can install. Like for example, for digital signatures, you can install DocuSign. For merging other templates and creating of documents for digital documents, you can use Conga. There's certain services. There are certain services that can be used, and I mean, Salesforce provides all those services, right? And it also pay as you go thing. For example, it depends upon the number of licenses that you have and number of users you are having in a system. So they have different edition of Salesforce, like enterprise, developer, right? So all based upon the uses and based upon the licenses, Salesforce provides the services, and they will charge for that services as well. Any question till now? Okay, so we'll go ahead with what means by the CRM. So as I explained earlier, the CRM, it does not just means as a customer relationship management, but it means how you track down the customer's uh, journey and their data and a 360-degree view of that. For example, I took that example of Paytm, and he's using those services. That we're getting those details from there. He's using like whatever the new product is coming from Paytm side, and they're using that and marketing that, and the customer starts using that. So again, they're tracking down all those journey of the customer and seeing whether we can get through that or not. Right, we can get the customer details, customer data, so that we can send them cold emails, cold calling, and tracking their details, what exactly they're using, how they're using their product, and where they're facing issues, and providing the relevant help over there. So this is something like in the customer relationship management. Basically, it revolves around the product and how you make sure that you stick to your customer and make sure you're getting them back with your product and they're using your product. For example, if I'm selling a laptop, right? So while selling a laptop, I'll keep those details in my CRM system, and I'll track down the details of the customer, whether he is facing some issues, he's reaching out to me. Will make sure that a potential customer retains back and comes back again after some time and buys my product, right? So this is something you do as a CRM. You provide a support, right? When they're using your product or your software, right? You make sure like you're using Salesforce for your selling of your product, your marketing of your product, right? And you provide a portal within a Service Cloud implementation where the end customer can come and raise their concern and get their result, so that it does not like they have the simple query, right? And that can be provided by the portal where you have the knowledge. You kept all those manuals, you see, right? From there we can, end users can read and get the idea. So you can create a portal kind of thing where they can read those manuals, and instead of creating cases for the agents and taking up their burden, but at the same time they will have an idea from there. So this is something how the Service Cloud things revolve, right? For the sales perspective, if you have certain people who are big buyers for you, right? So you create a partner community from them, in which they can see which all the products are coming up and how their product is getting and is in progress. For example, I'll say you if you're providing a healthcare, providing insurances, now the end customer can come up and see their policies and what's the progress on that, and how it's working, and how you can claim those policies from the portal and raise their concern from the portal instead of reaching out to the agents directly. So this is something you provide as a service, right? Coming to the next topic, we have certain types of cloud implementation that we do. For example, the public cloud that can be accessed, like you can keep your data and can be accessed by everyone, right? And if you're working on certain secure data, for example, government of India is working on certain secure data, so they will keep that in a private cloud that not be accessible to all the people. They might have authentication like as a public cloud, but they cannot access all those information, right? What specific that you are keeping right here. For example, if Netflix is on a public cloud, so like all those movies and things can be accessed by anywhere. By anyone, right? Similarly,
रहने दे, अब तो ब्रेड पिज़्ज़ा खाया है ना,
कली कड़ी बना ली, कड़ी का रोटी खा जा, कड़ी कड़ी
चावल तो भेज दिया मैंने।
हाँ, कड़ी चावल तो पिज़्ज़ा खाया है।
Can you go on mute, please? Okay. So what happens in the private cloud is basically all those data and things are not being accessible by everyone. That will be private, and it can be accessed by a certain set of users, which are authenticated user. When we have a secure data, and that can be on premise as well, right? And it cannot be like the private cloud can be implemented on premise and can be implemented. So the cloud refers to the set of services, storage, and all those things, right? And it can be somewhere else, anywhere in the world, or that can be on your premise as well. The other one is the community and the hybrid cloud. So hybrid cloud and community cloud are both are similar things, basically, which refers to the like how hybrid cloud is implemented, because some services can be public, some services can be private, right? So that comes as a mixture of public and private cloud as the hybrid cloud. So what is SFDC? So Salesforce is something which looks like this as an environment. So we have, say, for example, this is an environment where the user basically works. I mean, not user, I will say, but the developer or the admin works over here, develops a functionality, moves that to the different environment, right? We have certain deployment tools that we use. We move that to different environment, and from there, the QA people will test those functionalities, see whether all those things are working fine from the QA environment. Similarly, this kind of environment will be again in for the end business user testing. Let's say UAT, user acceptance testing, will be done, and from there it will move to the live environment as a production. So live environment also looks like these things only. So what the end user does is they will say, for example, they are certain set of users that provide services like the customer support. There are certain set of users that work for the sales in the sales of the product. So the services team are using this particular app, so they can see all their cases over here. Right, they can see like these are the cases coming up. So these cases can be created from multiple channels. They can create it from the chat, calls, different websites, and from the customer portal, and several different places we can implement and create cases in our system. Right. Similarly, whenever the case is getting created, so the agents can see their details on screen, something like this, right? So, for example, a case got created, and it's like you can see the origin of the case is from phone. This case created what's the priority of that case, what's the status of that case, and who's the owner of the case. For now, I'm the owner of the case. It can be assigned to a set of people or a queue. Which means that there's a group of people who can be assigned. For example, we created a group of agents who provide support for the phone calls, right? And we created that as a group or a queue, right? Similarly, we can create a queue for users, which basically have basically support the network issues, right? So that can be if the origin was something like, if case origin here, it was something I will say as a web or e-web. So this should be assigned to a different queue. So for these things, we write down certain case assignment rules in the backend, and we see whether that particular case is getting assigned to that queue. And from there, the user picks up, resolves that case, provides the resolutions in the particular time that is known as SLA. And depends upon the customer that we have. Like, say, for example, we have premier customer. For that, we provide resolution in, like, we need to resolve that case anyhow within an hour. So we provide the resolution within an hour. So that is an SLA and entitlement milestone kind of thing that's in the service cloud implementation that basically we do. And we make sure that the premier customer are getting a resolution for the cases within an hour. So this is something how a Salesforce environment looks at on sales service perspective. Similarly, for the sales perspective, for example, sales people are using this particular app. So we'll see like how these apps are created and how things have been done in an app. So the sales people do is for example, a lead can be created from multiple systems, because this is a basic very starting of a sales people. Like, they create a lead, they track on the lead, they convert that to opportunity, hence to account and contact. So the lead can be similarly created from chat, from partner portal, from websites, or different areas. For example, if I will search certain courses online, right? You fill a form on their website, like name, email, and your phone number, right? So all those things are getting stored in a Salesforce as a lead. That website will be integrated with Salesforce, and all those will be stored as a lead. Now, whenever the lead is created, you'll get cold emails, cold calling, unless until they sell their product to you, and then it will become converted to opportunity and account. So this is how you can track down all those things in Salesforce, and how the the salespeople track down their potential customers in the Salesforce. Similarly, for the marketing as well, we use the same product. So this is how a Salesforce environment looks like and how basically we work on all these things. So these are different leads, opportunity. All these are different objects. If you're aware, like objects, you can refer as a database tables which store the information of the users. I mean, there are certain columns. If you see the Excel sheet, right? So the row you can refer to the row in a table as a lead table, and a column you can see like different columns like first name, last name, email. All those are the table in the backend. I'll show you that as well later in the classes. And what is Salesforce One? So Salesforce One is a mobile application from where you can log in and see this particular Salesforce environment over there as well. Right, and from the mobile application, I mean, all those things are accessible over there, but the development part or the admin part you can do over here in the web only. You can't do that in the phone, but yeah, you can access that. You can see the data. Agents can see the data, provide the details over there from Salesforce One as well. So Salesforce One basically refers to the use by the end customer. For the agents, and the end customer can be you can use that as well for the portal or something. The customer portal can be accessed through phone as well. But yeah, for the agents, they can provide their details, their resolutions through phone as well, and can be automatically updated. So just you need the internet connection, nothing else when needed. So Salesforce One is a mobile application you can install from the App Store or the Play Store. Anything is fine, depending upon your platform. So how we develop apps and benefits of the force.com platform is basically we can create our app taking Salesforce as a base. For example, if I want to develop an app, how we develop an app, the different startups are coming up, they're developing their apps on Google platform, and they're publishing that to Play Store. Similarly, you can create an app on Salesforce and you can put that on the App Store as well, right? So you can go to the App Exchange and you can see like different products can be seen over there, right, in the Salesforce. So here you can see that you can publish this app over here, but basically Salesforce refers to like they rectify your app, the security model, and all those things when verified by Salesforce, then it will be published. It can be it can be a chargeable or license based, a subscription based model as well, or it can be something something that user can use without paying anything. There's certain app exchange product been provided by Salesforce. There's certain products which can be. So for example, this you can see this is a DocuSign. This is a product basically charges on the basis of license and the users. So this product is used for the digital signature, right? So whenever you're generating a code, you want to sign this digitally, you can use this particular product. You can sign this, and one copy of the signature will be sent out to you. The other one will be stored in a Salesforce, right? So when you click on Get It Now, so this will redirect your Salesforce ecosystem and ask you like whether you want to install a production sandbox or somewhere. So sandbox refers to the dev environment or the testing or the UAT environment. The production is the live environment. So this one, how I created my Trailer account is the production environment. There's a live environment because this is a developer edition. It's not an enterprise edition, right? So I can install it in my system and will be installed. Like these are the apps you can create using Salesforce. You can download it from Salesforce. Anything is fine. Depends upon your users. So this is a force.com platform. It's built on a force.com platform. The Salesforce has built and it provides certain services. You can create portals. You can create sites in here, and you can publish those sites for the end customers and can be accessed anywhere in the world. And that will be published on the force.com platform, right? So this is what a platform like what Salesforce provides to create your services, to create your product. You can publish it over in the App Exchange and any of the model you want to, right? Coming down to the architecture of Salesforce, so it means like a multi-tenant architecture, which means if you are on a cloud and you will be using those, you're sharing those things, right? You will be using those things in a way that it won't affect the other potential users or the customers. For example, if you're staying in a hotel, right? So that hotel is getting being used by multiple people, right? There are 100 rooms and the 100 customers for that particular hotel are staying over there. Now, if you're using some services, say for example, using electricity or water, you're using in a precise way that it won't affect the other customers as well. I mean, everyone should be getting the same amount of services and the uses. So for that, which means a multi-tenant architecture, which means the shared services and shared uses, right? If you want some additional services, you'll pay for that. For example, if you went to a hotel, you book a one room and you want to upgrade your services, you can do that to your suite, right? You can upgrade yourself. So this is something as in a broad terms, the Salesforce architecture looks like we can pay for your services for the additional services, but the basic services which will be provided by Salesforce are the limited one, not limited one, I'll say, but it's something like a shared one, right? So some other customers are also using, for example, if Paytm is using Salesforce, similarly Amazon is also using Salesforce, right? So they are implemented on a cloud, so we need to use the resources wisely, right? So this is something a multi-tenant architecture that we say, and there's a term known as governor limits, which means we need to make sure we're following those particular restrictions or a consideration while implementing certain solution. For example, we are displaying a data to the agents on a screen. For example, over here, I am displaying the lead data over here, right? For example, I'm displaying all those leads over here. So at a time, I can display only 50,000 records, right? So this is something like a governor limit is there, right? For example, if I am integrating with the other system, so there's a limit for that as well, like how many calls I can do in a day, right? So something like that we have over there in the Salesforce ecosystem for now. Any question till now? Vishal, Sandeep, Tanvi, any question? You guys on mute, speak up. Are we good? Are we good till now? Any question, any doubt?
Hello, Sandeep. Sandeep, are you there? Hello. Vishal. Hello.
Sir?
Yeah, Vishal, can you hear?
Hello. I'm audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
I'm audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Well, please
Sir, I
tell
have
me.
not any question.
Sandeep, you are not over there. Hello, Sandeep, can you hear me?
Sir, excuse me, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, sir, I have question, sir. Sir, what is, sir, web to lead, sir? What is?
Web to lead means like directly, like whenever you're on a website, right, and you ask some questions and they ask your detail, like if any for inquiry question, right, they ask you like your first name, last name, email, and when you save that, so whenever you save that that thing, a lead gets created in the backend, right? So that is something a web to lead, and that lead gets created in a Salesforce. So that is something web to lead.
Yes, so just like the publish the just like sir publish the website, sir. You know, sir.
Yeah, I mean, if any
Hello.
other website, you're putting your details, right? If an inquiry and a lead gets created back in the back end, like in Salesforce, so that is something web to lead.
Okay.
Any other question?
Okay. Well, I'll meet Vishal over the call and with Sandeep.
Sure. That's all for today. And we can continue.